Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about NES emulation on PlayStation with imbnes. imbnes stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, or it might be NES, depending on how you wanted to interpret that. This emulator was shut down May 27th, 2023. However, it's gaining a bit of popularity again. Someone over on Reddit Emulation decided to find out how good this emulator was, and they tested a bunch of NES games, and I mean a bunch. They found 573 games that run at full speed with minimal or no issues. That is a lot of games to test out. If you are curious about this project and wanted to learn more about it, as well as check out the compatibility list, like everything we talk about, links are in the description below right at the bottom. I don't hide my sources. I think this list is pretty impressive. And speaking about impressive and arguably possibly a little bit controversial, unless I'm misunderstanding something. Next up, we're talking about PlayStation 3 emulation with RPCS3. But not specifically with RPCS3. It's a fork of RPCS3 called Project Omed. This fork of RPCS3 is targeted at arcade emulation, specifically Namco 357 and 359. And it seems the final version of this fork has released. If you're interested in the arcade version of Tekken 6 or you're interested in the fork, Video Game Esoterica does have you covered with a very detailed video. Now, the controversial piece that I think may exist here, unless I'm missing something, and if I am, please let me know in the comments below. But I don't think that this fork is open source. Now, I may have been able to find something about this over on the Internet Archive, and I may also have found some information over on Emuline. Now, I don't necessarily know if this one is open source or not. I want to tend to think no. But there does seem to be a Patreon page in which you can get access to the emulator. Admittedly, this project is pretty new to me, and I did some searching online and wasn't able to find a GitHub or anything for it. If it does exist, please let me know in the comments below so I can properly link it to learn more about the project. And if you've got experience with this, let me know your experiences in the comments below. And speaking about stuff that's new to me, next up we're talking about Kingsfield Mobile. I didn't even know this port of the game existed. It's over on iMode and it has just been preserved. I am curious about this one. The audio in it I would say is not that great, but the gameplay for iMode I would say is impressive, I guess. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. I think this is more of just a friendly heads up and something that I find pretty cool. Next up, we're talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 and the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 Enhanced Edition. Now, I don't know about you, and this one might be a hot take, but one of the things I absolutely hate about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is the fact that the swords and the shields and the bows all break so easily. I hate going through something like 4 swords in order to kill an enemy. Yeah, there's more efficient ways of doing it, but at the same time here, it's just a mechanic I do not like. And it seems Nintendo is well aware of this mechanic and some people's disdain for it. I recommend checking out Zeltic's YouTube video for a much more detailed look at the Enhanced Edition here. But it does seem that you can possibly be able to get equipment repairs with the daily bonuses on the companion app. I mean, it says it right there. No idea how rare this is, no idea how effective it's going to be, but at the same time, maybe once per day you can repair something. I don't know if it's unlimited repairs. I don't know if it's just one repair. But I guess this is a good thing. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's something that can be spoofed, and it is tied to some sort of clock somewhere, not the system's clock. If you're worried about destruction of things, this is what I like to use in Tears of the Kingdom, and don't judge me, but I do use I don't want to say a hack, it's a glitch to have an unbreakable Master Sword that's pretty darn powerful. And this to me makes the game a heck of a lot more enjoyable. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. And speaking about enjoyable, next up here we're talking about Bungie, and Bungie has just unveiled the Marathon gameplay overview trailer. I would say this trailer is pretty enjoyable to watch. They say that Marathon is going to be a team-based extraction shooter, and closed alpha testing starts on April 23rd, with a planned release date of September 23rd of this year. Next up, we're talking about some Linux stuff, and if you use MX Linux, you may want to know that MX Linux 23.6 is now available. This one updates XFCE to version 4.20, and the latest kernel on this one is version 6.14. And continuing to talk about Linux stuff, and heads up, next up we're talking about ArcoLinux. If you're familiar with ArcoLinux, you're probably not going to like this news. ArcoLinux is shutting down. It was up for 8 years and the developer has decided to step away from the project. ArcoLinux was based on Arch. It was designed as an educational tool and the developer here is stepping back. They say, aging is humbling. As I near 60, I've come to realize I simply don't have the same mental sharpness or stamina I used to. I catch myself making little mistakes, the kind that matter when you're maintaining an ecosystem with this many moving parts. They then say, rather than let that diminish the quality of ArcoLinux, I chose to leave it while it's still stable, respected, and valuable. They do say here that websites will stay online for several years. YouTube videos will remain accessible to all. GitHub repositories will stay up while free hosting remains. No more updates are planned for packages, configs, or this website. The project is open source, so I'm curious to see if someone does pick it up and continues it forward. I will say, though, that this was a very good run for ArcoLinux, and I am sad to see it go. And speaking about sad to see, but in a completely different context, next up we're talking about Path of Exile 2. Now, Path of Exile 2 released in December of 2024 to mostly positive reviews. However, if we take a look at the recent reviews, that has decreased to mixed. The negative reviews seem to be stemming from the Dawn of the Hunt update, and for a couple of reasons. One, some people aren't happy with the microtransactions in the game, and secondly here, it seems that everything in the game is now a total slog. So this person here has almost 200 hours into the game, and they say, Dawn of the Hunt update, everything feels like a total slog. Every boss fight is incredibly longer than it needs to be. Most of the skills do little to no damage. I understand they said they wanted to slow the gameplay down, but I don't think I will even make it more than 1 week in this league at this point. However, I have seen some positive reviews recently that are people defending the game. This person has almost 500 hours into the game, and they say, is the game a work in progress? Yes. Does it deserve the level of review bombing? Absolutely not. The developers are listening to feedback and making great changes in a short amount of time. They are involved in the community and are some of the most transparent devs in the entire gaming industry. Remember, this is meant to be early access. Review bombing accomplishes nothing. But let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. If you play Path of Exile 2, is this update a slog? Does it degrade the quality of the game? What are your thoughts on the microtransactions? And what are your thoughts on the review bombing here? Is the review bombing justified? I would kind of say it is if people aren't happy with it, even though the game is in early access. The game is still charging a fee, and the game does have microtransactions for stuff. Although it is early access, at the same time here, it is, I would say, completely fair game for negative reviews because they are making money off of it. And speaking about making money off stuff, next up we're talking about Prince of Persia Lost Crown. And Ubisoft has just released this game for Apple and Android. And the game, I think, will cost around $10, give or take, depending on where you're at in the world. It is free to install, but you do have to pay for it if you wanted the full game. I haven't tested this one out on my own, and I haven't seen many reviews for this game yet. I'm assuming reviews will start pouring in fairly soon. I mean, it's already got over 50,000 downloads on Android. Next up, we're talking about the Anbernic RG 557. Now, we talked about this one in the past when Anbernic unveiled it. And now it seems the specs have leaked, and RetroHandhelds.gg has you covered, as well as a whole lot of details provided by Zoo in their YouTube video. I think I've seen some comments on this YouTube channel talking about the leaked specs as well. But anyways, here the RG 557 will have a MediaTek Dimensity 8300. And Zoo is calling this one basically a super RG 556. Retro Handhelds is estimating the price of this one at about $205, give or take. I mean, with tariffs in effect, who knows what the final price of this is going to be and whether or not you'd find this price out if you bought it directly from Anbernic and had them ship it to you and then had to pay the tariffs on it. I really don't know here. I mean, I'm in Canada, not facing the same tariffs that the States are, so we'll have to wait and see on this one. And last up here, we're talking about something that's a little bit controversial, has been generating quite a bit of chatter online, and I would say is possibly right on the money. That might be a hot take. But anyways, here there was a podcast with former PlayStation boss Sean Layden, and he says if it's the only place to play Mario, you buy it when talking about the $80 price point. But let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. I would say this quote makes sense because where else are you going to play Nintendo games? If Nintendo increases the price and people want to play Nintendo first-party games, they're going to have to pay the prices. Or Possibly not. Maybe they'll find another way to play the game. Anyways, here it just seems that Nintendo can do what they want with their own stuff because they're in complete control of it. And if you want Nintendo stuff, you gotta play by Nintendo's rules. Or not. However, I am very curious to hear your thoughts on the matter. I'm thinking once GTA 6 comes out and if it's priced at $100 like it's being rumored to, I would say the $80 will be a thing of the past, and I'm assuming game prices will also increase because GTA 6 is setting the new bar. I could be wrong with that, but I don't think I'm going to be. Anyways, please let me know your thoughts. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your state.